Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive shift that's already happening all around us, the agentic economy. Now, this isn't just about another set of smarter AI tools. Oh no, we're talking about autonomous systems that are starting to run huge parts of our businesses for us. So let's really get into what that means.
First things first, let's talk scale, because this isn't some far-off sci-fi prediction. The AI economy, right now, this year, is already a $312 billion reality. And that's not just big tech. We're talking about a fundamental change across the entire business landscape. And you know what's really staggering? The projection. It's on track to hit a mind-blowing $3.5 trillion by 2033.
And this quote? It just perfectly captures the mood in boardrooms everywhere. The debate about if is over. It's done. The real question now is all about speed and strategy. How fast can you adapt to not just survive, but to actually lead the way? So over the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down. We'll kick things off with the 4 key drivers that are making this happen. Then we'll pinpoint where those billion-dollar opportunities are hiding. And finally, we'll lay out a super clear strategy for success.
Okay, so let's pop the hood and see what's really going on. What are the fundamental shifts that brought us to this massive tipping point? It really all boils down to 4 main drivers.
The first, and honestly, the most important driver, is the jump from simple chatbots to what's called Agentic AI. Here's the difference, and it's a big one. A chatbot answers a question. An AI agent, on the other hand, is given a goal, and it figures out all the steps to get there on its own. It can plan, it can reason, it can use a bunch of different tools, all without you holding its hand. That capability changes absolutely everything.
So what does that actually look like? Imagine you tell an agent, hey, create a blog post for me about the benefits of hybrid work. The agent doesn't just spit out some text. No, it goes and researches the topic, writes a complete draft, finds and picks out the best images, and then it actually publishes the final article to your website. That's one simple prompt kicking off a whole complex workflow.
The second driver is something I like to call the infrastructure reckoning. For years, the mantra was cloud first, cloud first. But it turns out running these gigantic new AI models 24/7 on the cloud is incredibly expensive. So that's forcing a big change. Businesses are now shifting to smarter hybrid models, using the cloud for its amazing flexibility, but also bringing some of that computing power back in-house to get a handle on costs and beef up security.
Driver number 3 is the democratization of AI. The whole field is just opening up. You don't need a huge team of PhDs anymore to build really powerful AI. Thanks to pre-trained models and easy-to-use APIs, even small and medium-sized businesses can now tap into the kind of artificial intelligence that used to be only for the big players.
And the final driver is, maybe a little surprisingly, regulation. For years, all this legal uncertainty actually slowed things down. But now, with frameworks like the EU AI Act becoming fully enforceable this year, we finally have clear rules of the road. And that maturity? It replaces fear with confidence, which really encourages safe and responsible investment.
Okay, so those are the drivers. But where is all this power and money actually going? In this next section, we're going to explore how these forces are creating real, tangible, billion-dollar business opportunities. Let's get into it.
The first huge opportunity is in something called vertical AI. You know the era of those generic one-size-fits-all AI tools? Well, it's kind of fading. The real money now is in creating super specialized AI that solves a very specific and often very expensive problem for one particular industry.
Just look at healthcare, for example. We're seeing AI systems that can diagnose diseases with unbelievable accuracy, or platforms that automate all that horrible paperwork to help fight doctor burnout. Or in finance, banks are using defensive AI. These are specialized models trained to spot and block sophisticated fraud in real time. See? These aren't general tools. They're like surgical strikes on huge problems.
The second opportunity is, well, it's truly mind-bending. It's called agentic commerce. This is where AI agents become actual economic players. They're being given the power to research vendors, negotiate prices, and make purchases for companies, all completely on their own. And that, of course, creates a need for a whole new layer of technology just to manage them all.
The key thing to get here is that businesses are now building the plumbing to support this new AI workforce. This means creating multi-agent systems, where different AIs work together like a human team. One researches, another writes the code, a third one tests it. It also means building orchestration platforms that act as a central command center for all of a company's different AI tools.
Remember that EU AI Act we talked about a minute ago? Well, it directly creates our third massive opportunity: AI compliance and governance. With these new regulations, building trustworthy AI isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's a flat-out legal and financial necessity. The idea of radical trust has gone from a buzzword to a core business driver.
And if you're wondering why this is such a huge deal, just look at this chart. The financial penalties for not complying are just staggering. We're talking up to 7% of a company's global turnover. That is a level of risk no board of directors can possibly ignore, and it's creating a multi-billion-dollar demand for solutions that make sure AI is being used safely and legally.
So, of course, that level of risk creates a whole new market. We're seeing companies pop up to offer sovereign AI services, systems built to keep sensitive data within a country's borders. Brand new auditing tools are being built to check for bias and risk. And an entire cottage industry of responsible AI consultants is springing up to help businesses navigate all these new rules.
All right, our final opportunity zone is where AI gets physical. We're seeing this powerful merger of artificial intelligence and robotics, moving AI out of the cloud and into our actual warehouses, factories, and even our cities.
The applications here are just incredible. Think of dark warehouses. These are fully autonomous logistics centers run entirely by fleets of coordinated robots. Or imagine AI systems doing predictive maintenance on our critical infrastructure, forecasting a power grid failure or a data center outage long before it could ever happen. Pretty amazing stuff.
So, we've covered the drivers and the big opportunities. This brings us to the most important question of all: what do you actually do about it? In our final section, we're going to build a strategic compass to help you navigate this new agentic economy. Look, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this 80-20 rule. The technology itself, that's only about 20% of the value. The real win, the other 80%, comes from completely redesigning your processes and empowering your people to work with these AI agents. Just buying a new tool is not a strategy. It just isn't.
This shift means you need a whole new kind of talent. The future belongs to what some people are calling the diamond workforce. These are your AI generalists, people who aren't necessarily coders, but who understand the tech well enough to effectively manage, prompt, and oversee entire teams of autonomous AI agents.
And finally, you have to be absolutely ruthless in your focus. Don't go chasing every shiny new AI object that comes along. Prioritize the projects that deliver on hard metrics. You have to ask yourself, can this directly grow our revenue? Can it substantially cut our customer acquisition costs? Will it create a real, defensible advantage in the market? If the answer to those questions is no, move on.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one critical question to take back to your organization. I want you to look at your training programs, look at your strategy, and ask this: are you preparing your team to simply use the next cool AI tool? Or are you preparing them for the real future, to manage and to lead autonomous agents? Because the difference between those two is everything.
Because this future is coming way faster than almost anyone imagines. By the end of this year alone, it's projected that 40% of B2B interactions will be handled not by humans, but by autonomous agents. The agentic economy isn't coming. It's already here, and the time to build your strategy was yesterday. Thanks for watching.